Welcome back. Let's do it. Get that off. Get that off of you before you get into it. So we're doing Taco Tuesday. We got taquitos, got nachos, and 2 tacos. And then I got my salsa verde sauce because that's all I eat. Green bean go, baby. It's green, baby. So this story is coming from Fatal Traction. This has to do with a lady located in Kennesaw, Georgia. About good old 2017. Yes. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. So, she was a single mother, you know. Well, she wasn't a single mother. She was a mother of 6. And she was 6 of them. Not 2, not 3, but 6. It was about 9 o'clock when her son found her unconscious in the bed. He take off, run to the next door neighbor's house. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. I need you to help me, my mom, something wrong with my mom. So the neighbor, she leaves, she take her phone with her, and go back into the house with the young man. And there lay Erica Powell, laid out. Her neighbor's thinking she got a gas across her face. Maybe it's a couple blows. There might be still a chance. They call the police. So the police, well, the phone operator, she said, can you stay on the scene? Tell the police shut up. She said, I don't feel comfortable. I think the killer's in the house. I gotta go. But I'll stay on the phone. So, let's back all this up. Let's back it up. It's 2017 presently, right? So let's back it up to 2007. Okay? When, in 2007, she became a wife to her husband. His name was Eric. He was alcoholic, like most men. Not that all men are alcoholics, just a large quantity of them. But nonetheless, he was an alcoholic. He was very abusive. He pistol whipped his own wife for just disagreeing with him. Real savage, like, you know. Your ordinary abuse, honey. Over nothing. Over control, basically. Just controlling. Her being abused made her want more for her life and her kids. So she started going to school. She graduated with a BA in accounting. Continued further in education and got her master's in accounting. Then she soon later went back again and got her doctor's degree in accounting. So she making good money. And right out of college, she got into a Fortune 500 company, which only set her up for major success and really good money. She was making good figures. Anything is possible. I'm not saying you have to be abused, but maybe some people find their ambition somewhere. They gotta find it somewhere. That's all I can say. So, She's making great money, right? Her husband wasn't respecting that or stunning it, so the abuse continues, which led her to get herself together and just leave him behind. They were married for like 8 years. They have, I think they have like 3 kids together. So it's safe to say her kids were mentally and emotionally abused, as well as she was physically, mentally, and emotionally abused. Because when one gets abused, everybody's a bystander. Hold on, I'm trying to figure out which way to turn it. This one is a little bit different than the tamarind. This one's more like a power drink, like natural. It's really good. Try it. It's got like a black licorice taste to it, but it's giving me almost like root beer. Like A&W root beer, like the candy root beer. That's what it tastes like the most to me. So she got away from her husband, divorced him and everything. Her and the kids were living their best life. She even began to start dating again. And before you knew it, while she was on one date with one man, I guess they closed out the date or whatever, I don't know. Because I was like, wow, that was switchball changed hella quick. I'm on my kids. They being their best self. This is where Walter dances in front of her face and they just catch a glimpse of herself and just, wow, bask in love. Unlike her first husband, Walter wasn't just on alcohol, he was on drugs. Cocaine if you have it. He was very controlling. Which was very sad because she had just got away from one. And here comes another one. Just trotting. Just, it seemed to me like Erica couldn't get a good enough break to find a better man. So, Walter danced himself right into her little 6-figure life. He didn't have a job. Wouldn't get a job. I don't even think he had a job record. All he does is sniff coke, drink, and that's pretty much it. And smoke weed. That's a profession then. Suit your own. But on this night in 2017, the police were called. So the police are trying to figure out how to get a hold of Walter because he's not even on the scene. Nowhere to be found. Nobody's talked to him. But him and the 2 youngest kids are the only people other than Erica living in the house. So they're like, well, where is he at? Because he don't got no job. Where is he? So Walter decides to finally pop up after all the kids then showed up, and the police actually tried to arrest the oldest brother because he was being erratic. But that's his house and that's his mammy, and he trying to figure out what happened. So, long story short, the other police officer come out the house, tell them to let the older brother go, and they talk to him. They're like, "When's the last time you seen your mom? Like, what would you say the relationship was?" Like a brief little interrogation while they were sitting in front of the house. So he's like, everything was cool, you know. They didn't really like Walter because Walter had actually been previously arrested for fighting the other two older kids because he's a crackhead. I'm just gonna go and say it. He's a crackhead, okay, y'all? You fighting kids, sniffing coke. You're a goddamn crackhead. So mind your mouth. It's a little filthy. It's getting real over here. So basically, they tie up the criminal scene, head down to the offices. They finally get in touch with Walter. He said he's coming. So he came down to the investigation to be investigated, and he basically tells them they was 3 days away from their anniversary for 1 year. Hard to believe. All that happened in 1 year. Like 1 year. Couldn't have been 1 year. Let me double check. Yeah. So apparently she had 3 other kids somewhere in the mix. I don't know, because the way the story was told, it didn't really say like who she had kids with, but I know she had most of her kids with her first husband. I guess she couldn't have had kids with Walter because they was only together a year. She got 6 of them, so ain't no telling how to account for them. But, you know, he was just trying to convince the police that they was so in love and everything was great, and he doesn't know how this could have happened because everybody loved her, so they just trying to figure out who, where, and why. Mm-hmm. So, after he convinces the police they're so in love, he's the perfect guy, he would never do anything like that to hurt her, he convinces them to look into her first husband, who was very abusive, a drunk, a piece of, if you have it, and he was just so convinced that he's the one that killed his wife. So they contact Eric. He comes down to the station for interrogation. Now, as I said before, when they looked up Eric's record, they seen how many times the police had to come to their house, all the things he'd done to his wife. So yeah, he was looking real sussy. So they decided to really go hard on the investigation for him. But when they got to him, he was like, I ain't seen her in like 3 months. We barely even talk. Our kids are grown, so we have no fornication going on like that. But at the same time, he didn't give a fuck. He actually thought it was funny that she was dead. You gotta be careful who you choose. Gotta be careful who you choose, honey. Some people really feel that way. He stated he was working and he checked all his alibis checked out. So he definitely was not on the scene. He was not capable of committing the murder. There was no third party through him, no nothing. Like nothing. Nothing came back for him. Not for Mr. Eric. He got off. So out of nowhere, her best friend comes down to the station to give her side of how she thinks or what she has going on to add to the case. So she says, look, ever since my homegirl Erica met Walter, she just was not herself. We barely seen each other throughout this last year. Like, she had to sneak away from him, and even when she did, like, he'll blow up her phone. Like, just be blowing it up every 15 minutes. Like, blowing it, just all him. All him. So, I mean, it kept her on pins and needles, and like I said, she couldn't even get out and be with her friends. So, I find that very suspicious that he was that controlling. He didn't have a job. He had actually had to go to rehab for 6 months. And, during that 6 months, he was in jail, doing rehab in jail. She actually called the police station, begging them to drop the restraining order against him so that they could have contact, because he wrote so many convincing letters that he would be a better man for him and her, and in addition to her family and lifestyle. So she just done convinced the woman, like, I can do better. So with Keisha's statement, the police looked again in on Walter and seen that he does have a drug history and there's a bit of a criminal past with Walter. So they're just keeping an eye out on Walter, just in case. So it just was not looking good. Like, you would be with a man that beat your kids, like, fight them. But I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. Like, you can go. You can very much go. You ain't got no job. He ain't had no job. Like, second chance for what? Because you obviously ain't paying none of the bills. You're not adding to my family in no type of way. Like, this story for me was frustrating because she put the meat above common sense. The meat, common sense. The meat, common sense. Like, come on. Come on. Ain't no middle. Ain't no middle. Ain't no 50-50. Ain't no 25%. I'm talking about 0% off 100. 0%. Like, rest in peace, young lady. That's all I can say. Rest in peace, my mamas. So, forensics get back. She actually has a gunshot to the head. There was actually a gunshot bullet above her head. So, they called Walter back down because the gun was tied back to their house. Their, that was their gun. That was Erica's gun. So, the police said, can you make the statement one more time? Walter's like, he backs up his story. Chuck, parched maybe? Nah, he backs up the story. He's like, okay, well, what really happened was we was getting in the fight and she was getting low, rambunctious, so I tried to tame her. And then she got to reaching for the yak, and then she went to shoot me, and I snatched her from her. I shot her twice in the face, which means she would have to be laying across the bed, not in the bed. Looked like she had already been tucked away. So, I'm looking, the detectives looking, we like, this not adding up. So forensic come back with the real story. She was already asleep. She had passed away in her sleep. So what Walter was saying was not ever going to be able to check out. There was no brawl. There was no fight. He had no scratches on him. Wrist, hands, face, neck, nothing. Closed wrist, nothing. So they go to court. Walter is there. Key witness. The judge decides to give him life in jail. He gets life in jail, y'all. I should be like, what is lies for? Why even lie? Just so you can escape it? It's coming eventually. Come to find out, when they give you the last chance to say, do you want to make a statement for the family's case, well-being, mental stability, whatever. He's like, all right, yeah, I did shoot her, but she was gonna leave me. And basically, what he was feeling is like, you gonna take your 6-figure lifestyle and live without me? And he's a user, so he needed her. She the one that provided the drugs for him. The big house, the cars, the blingy wear if you have it. You think Walter was finna let that go? Skip finding somebody else. He had found the jackpot. He wasn't going nowhere. And if he couldn't have it, nobody else could either. Statistics show the more successful you are, the more lowlifes come around to vibrate with you on false identities. Men, be careful, because women do the same thing. They be bums with a lip gloss and some gum in a bag, a fake bag at that, trying to persuade you into them being some type of mogul, inspired female. Mess around, get your life taken. You know what I'm saying? It happens a lot. So be careful, women. The more successful you are, the more you care about your life, the more people will try to come around to act like they care about what you care about. And they really don't. They just want what they want. They want support. They want to be the female. Let's go and say it. They want to be the female too. But they got 3 legs and not 1. Or 2. So be careful. Everything might be glittery and shiny and new, but everything comes from the recycle. Everything. So please be careful while dating and having fun. Have fun, but be careful. Be easy. I'll see y'all next time. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed your meal.